Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Sunday, the 22nd of June, 2025. You are watching Morning Brew on Politics Social. I'm Graham Hughes. Sorry, we're a bit late getting started this morning. A lot's been going on, and also we don't have to worry about bumping our respective appendages with our neighbour, the Sunday roast, because they're not on over the summer apparently. So hello everyone. We've got who we got in the chat. We've got blah blah CW. We've got L. We've got Scott. We've got Mr. Bull. We've got Diz in the chat as well, which is kind of cool. Good to see. We've got Tripod 9000. We've got Martin Tube Driver. 1963, my front yard. Morning. Good morning to you all. If you'd like to join our friends, our friendly friends in the chat here, all you need to do is hit the subscribe button and wait for about a minute, and then you should be able to opine openly, but don't be a troll. Okay, so Trump has ordered B-2 bombers to strike 3 nuclear sites in Iran. Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. He has claimed these sites were totally and completely obliterated. This has triggered an immediate Iranian reaction against Israel, followed by Israeli airstrikes. The UN has warned of catastrophic consequences, and you could argue that Trump is not actually solving a crisis here. He is creating one. This is a hell of a risk to take. Netanyahu has manipulated the moment, and Trump has taken the bait. And Trump has actually said there were many targets left. So quite what all this has to do with the United States of America, I don't really know. And again, American overreach, American adventurism, America interfering in other countries that have got nothing to do with America. Iran, like Iraq in 2003, is no threat at all to America. It might be a threat to other countries in the region, but surely it's up to the other countries in the region to deal with that threat. No, America's got to come along for some reason. Well, I'll tell you the reason. Because Trump is a weak president. He is a weakling. He is easily manipulated. He is easily controlled by the people who know how to control him, i.e. Netanyahu in Israel and Putin in Russia. They make him dance like a little monkey with a miniature cymbal. That's what they do. This is really grim at the moment, but we're going to be going through everything. And before we, I didn't pose the question of the show, or the statement of the show saying, "Oh, it's all out war," because I don't think it will be. But we'll get to that. I thought Trump wanted to be an isolationist, says Lawrence. Well, yeah, he said he did, but then he gets told what to do, and he does it because he's been offered a load of money. The same way that the Russians get him to do stuff. People keep going on about this bloody tape. Oh, there's a tape. There's nothing. There is literally nothing that a Trump voter would see on a videotape and go, right, that's it. I'm never voting for Trump again. There is nothing, okay? That Trump could do something absolutely horrific to that boomers, not all boomers, to that Trump voting boomers' firstborn or even their grandchild. Like, beyond horrific, and they would still vote for Trump. You've got to understand the mentality of a cult. These people are in a cult. They don't care what Trump does. There is no tape. Even if there is a tape, it wouldn't make any difference. Trump is motivated by one thing. And a lot of you might think that it's ego. Being the big man I am. It's not. It's the same thing that drives ego Musk. Money. Money, darling. Money. Lots of money. Trump has set things up. He's made over $3 billion with a B, dollars since the beginning of his term as president, his second term as president. Nigel Farage, same thing. He's got no morals, no scruples. He will say whatever he needs to say to keep himself in power, to keep him turning up at these rich events where Nazis pay £10,000 per plate to go and sit and watch Nigel Farage blame everything on trans people and immigrants. And what does he do it for? The money. Trump does it for the money. He is completely transactional. There is a group in America called AIPAC, AIPAC. It's the American Israeli Political Action Committee. And they fund the Republican Party up the kazoo. They're the biggest one-off donor, I think, to Republican politicians. And what do these politicians like more than anything? Money. Money. It's really simple. It's really grubby. It's just money. You just fucking pay them. And while the Democrats have tried for years to put things in place to stop this kind of chicanery, corruption, they're not immune from it either. They're allowed to have stocks and shares. They're allowed to go, oh, well, we're having a committee this afternoon that's going to, get rid of some regulation on this particular sector. Maybe I should buy a load of stocks in companies in that particular sector this morning, because by this afternoon, they'll all have shot up 50%. And they do it, and it's legal. And while the Democrats go along with this shit, the Republicans are free to do whatever the fuck they want. And this is the issue. This is the big problem. It's money. It's money. Simple as that. It's not a tape. It's not influence. It's not even ego. It is just money. Grubby, filthy greenbacks. That's all Trump is interested in. And that's what Israel have given him. They've given him a fuckload of money. They bought his fucking Trump coin, his Strump coin. That's what they've done. Oh, talking of money, thank you very much to Chris C. Because I'm also money powered, but to a much smaller extent, because it's, it's just a small channel on YouTube. But Chris C, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. Starmer is repeating the mistakes of Blair in 2003. I don't know if that's the case yet. I would be absolutely horrified and just have my mind blown if Starmer sent British troops in to do anything in Iraq and Iran. Mostly because as a young lawyer, as a young internationalist human rights lawyer, he wrote a piece in The Guardian 22 years ago saying, hey, we shouldn't be invading Iraq. That's an illegal war. Under international law, that's against the law. And one of the things that a lot of us liked about Starmer is he wasn't tainted by that Blair government, which did a lot of good things. A lot of good things, especially when you compare them with the Tories, who were in 18 years prior and then 14 years after. They did a lot. They did a lot in 13 years. Unfortunately, the whole thing was overshadowed by the intervention in Iraq, which was just ridiculous, based on a presumption that they had some kind of weapons of mass destruction, which they did not. They did not have that. It was a thing they did not have. Love and money is the root of all evil, the Bible. Yeah, you know what? Future wins. Sometimes the Bible gets it right. It's a big document, 600,000 words in it. Some of them are in the right order. Before we go on, my friends, my loved ones, it's like my flag. This was so that's a woke LGBTQIA plus flag. That's the intersectional pride flag on a Spitfire. I thought that would roast the gammon. I thought, do you like the smell of roast gammon in the morning? So look out for my massive flag, my Wokers flag. It's got the wing kind of going over the swear word at the bottom. So I think we'll get away with it. We might not. We'll have to see. But that's going to be my Glastonbury flag. So look out for that flag at Glastonbury. And when you see it, you'll be like, that's Graham. There he is. Love the flag, says Sarah Davis. Thank you. Heck yes, Graham, says Trip. If you look very closely, the pilot that he's put in, because Mike Dix designed this for me, the little pilot there is actually a little Trumpton me. It's a little Trumpton version of me flying the woke as fuck plane. The woke fire. The woke Spitfire. Now my mission at Glastonbury right, this year is going to be getting me and Kat and this flag a picture with Kate Nash holding the flag with us. That's what we want. That's what I'm going for. That's what I'm going for. Nice one, Graham. Looks great. Thanks, Scott. I always make a big effort with my flags for Glastonbury. You may have seen some over the years. I was the one with the God Hates Flag back in 2013. I was the one with the Flaggy McFlagface flag in 2016. I was the one with the gay fish flag, which if anyone watches South Park, they'll know what the reference is, but I was watching Kanye West and there's a flag that says gay fish. And I had the original Bollocks to Brexit flag, the original one in 2017, before all the stickers came out and all that kind of stuff. I had bollockstobrexit.org and I had a big yellow flag. And if you watch the documentary about the Bee Gees, at the very end, they've got Robin Gibb singing at Glastonbury, singing Staying Alive at Glastonbury. And you can see my Bollocks to Brexit flag flying. Last time I went, I had fuck the Tories. I had a little star on it, and I was all right. Like, no one came and gave me shit. Some people gave me shit for my Bollocks to Brexit flag, by the way. Some older gentlemen. Obviously, not all boomers. Not all boomers came over and had a go at me for my Bollocks to Brexit flag. Very important that not every boomer at Glastonbury came over and had a word with me. But a couple did. And one of them said, "You should change that flag so it says, 'I hate democracy.'" Lies are not democracy, my friend. Anyway, my F the Tories flag in 2023, that went down really well. I had a guy come up to me, and he was an older gentleman. You know, I thought, God, I'm in trouble here. And he came over and he went, I want to complain about your flag. And he'd made his way through the crowd, obviously, to come and tap me on the shoulder. And I was like, "Oh, what's the problem with it?" And he went, "It's not big enough." I was like, brilliant. I've had very rude flags over the years, which I probably shouldn't mention on this show. But this one's all right. I think. But yeah, I never take the same flag twice, unfortunately. Even though, there's some classics in my repertoire. I honestly, I do put a lot of thought into this stuff, and almost always use the Cooper font, which is the Cooper Black font, which is the same font they use on the Pet Sounds album by the Beach Boys. So a little bit of a nod and wink there to old Brian, who we lost a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, all in there. Acro Dave says, "Not all boomers." Just most of them. And Earl of Lurl says, "This video has a title." Yeah, but it's morning brew, so you got to get tangents. Okay, I still haven't got my tickets yet. I might not be going. The tickets don't arrive. We're stuffed. So apparently they're going to get posted to us on Monday. Living a bit late, lads. Anyway, okay, let's get back to this very serious business that we need to talk about all things kicking off in the Middle East. So, Fordow and Natanz and Esfahan have been shot, have been targeted with these bombs. Fordow is the place that's like in a mountain, and the only way they could get to it is using these bunker buster bombs. Although there was a bit of questioning whether actually they would affect the installation, whether they could get down far enough to take it out. But apparently the 60% enriched uranium that the Iranians were bragging about having, that was moved out the facility in advance. So I don't know. Oh, thanks very much, James Wigg, with £10 towards my flag funds. Thank you. The UN is officially dead. Might makes right now is the law of the land, and pre-World War I international mentalities are back. Yeah, James, you're not wrong. You are not wrong, my friend. I think you're 100% on the money there. Yeah, the UN has been chipped away at by nefarious actors. The fact that we have a UN Security Council with 5 permanent members One of them's the UK. One of them's France. Or should I say, one of them's America. So are they going to vote for anything that's anti-capitalism? No. One of them's China. Are they going to vote for anything that's pro-democracy? No. Oh, and the other one is Russia. Are they going to pray? Are they going to vote for anything that is anti-corruption? No. They're going to veto it. So you've got an international body that is not going to do anything to promote democracy, not going to do anything to curb the ravages of and the worst impulses of unbridled capitalism. And you've got a UN that's going to do fuck all about corruption. Yeah. One of the things that I hope might come from all this, and it'll take time. It'll take time, and it's going to be, it takes a long time to build stuff rather than just ruin it. But we might get a new version of the UN that actually is a better version that pushes for democracy and transparency and anti-corruption and rewards the countries that go down that route instead of what we have at the moment. You have a UN that not only rewards countries that go down the route of corruption, but also ensures that people who run these countries cannot be taken into custody for the terrible crimes they've committed while they're still the leader of the country. So they need to be deposed. Slobodan Milosevic of former Yugoslavia, who then was the leader of Serbia and Montenegro. He had to be deposed to be taken to the war for war crimes at the International Criminal Court at The Hague. He had to be deposed first. While he was leader, he was untouchable. It's the same reason why you get dinosaurs like Robert Mugabe, who stayed in post till he was like 93 years old or something, because he knew that as soon as he wasn't the leader, he would be done for war crimes. However, he did a special deal in the last 6 months of his life to say, if I step down, you cannot do me for war crimes. I have blanket immunity for any crimes I may have committed as leader. And he did commit many, many crimes as leader. The UN at the moment, it's dysfunctional. It's got no teeth. It's not doing anything for the world. There's no one in the UN representing planet Earth. No, not a country as such, but the Earth, the planet. So everyone's looking after the vested interests of their own countries. And you've got places like Norway, which, they talk a good talk, don't they, Norway? They've got all electric cars now, and they have this sovereign wealth fund, which is worth over £1 trillion kroner. And, they're doing really well, thank you very much. And yeah, good luck to them. But the reality is that they're one of the biggest exporters of oil in the world. Our biggest import, like the country apart from our own, that we get oil from is Norway. So they're doing more to pollute the world. They're just letting other people burn their oil while going, well, we've all got electric cars up here. So that kind of hypocrisy, I want a little less of that. And instead of people going, well, we could do more about stopping people using oil, but we like the money that we get from selling all this oil, you'd have someone who represents the planet's interests and says, hey, let's stop burning this disgusting, dirty-ass fuel that we take out the ground, dig it out the ground, and we burn it, and then the CO2 goes into the atmosphere. Where the hell else do you think it's going to go? I just wish there was more representative of the needs of the planet before nationalistic needs of money, grubby money. Which motivates the government of Norway just as much as it motivates the government of America. No one is safe from the grubbiness of money. So apparently the International Atomic Agency, the IAEA, which is difficult to make a word out of because there's too many vowels. They've reported that there's been no radiation leakage reported. Also, the Saudi Arabian authorities have not reported any radiation leakage. And like I said earlier, Iran have claimed that the Fordow site was evacuated and they got the stuff out, and there were no major civilian casualties in this, which is good because they knew this was coming. Despite Trump saying, "I'll make a decision in 2 weeks," and 2 days later he does what he's told by Benjamin Netanyahu. So the strikes were conducted by B-2 stealth bombers. There was only these particular bombers that could do this particular strike against this particular installation because only they have these bunker busting bombs that were kind of invented in the early 2000s to counter the tunnels that the Taliban and Al Qaeda had made in southern Afghanistan. They were going to bomb the tunnels that were deep underground. That worked, didn't it? Because now the Taliban are nowhere to be heard of, and they're definitely not in charge of Afghanistan. There's no evidence whatsoever that Iran had a nuclear weapon or was able to produce a nuclear weapon in a few months. A lie that has been told by Benjamin Netanyahu almost every year since 1993. 92, actually, 92. But the first time he said that they were 3 months away from getting a nuclear bomb, Nirvana was still in the charts. Nirvana was still around. Kurt Cobain was still with us. I think Freddie Mercury was still with us as well. Like, Jesus. Wow. A long time ago. No, sorry, Freddie Mercury died in 91. Yeah, no, unfortunately, Freddie had already gone by then. But yeah, Kurt was still around. I think Kurt stayed with us till, 1993, 94? And then a year later, I always remember I read the review for the Holy Bible, the third Manic Street Preachers album, in the NME. And the writer of the article was talking about the darkness of it and how dark it was. And coming off the heels of the death of Kurt Cobain, he was like, I really hope that Richie Manic is okay, with the darkness of these lyrics. And unfortunately, Richie drove himself to a bridge and then was never seen again. Anyway, sorry, digressing. It seems ridiculous now, for us to be in a position where we know that Netanyahu lies. We know that he's been saying this lie about Iran having nuclear weapons in just a few months. We know what happened in Iraq. We know that Israel is not a signatory to the nuclear non-proliferation treaty and has maybe 80 nuclear warheads ready to go. And no one inspects them. The IAEA does not inspect them. Sorry, the IAEA. The IAEA does not inspect them. Like, there's only 3 countries in the world that aren't inspected, that have never been a signatory to the nuclear non-proliferation treaty. One of them is like South Sudan, Israel, and I forgot what the third one is. All the other countries, I think it's North Korea maybe. All the other countries allow inspectors in to see what they've got. But not Israel. So there's the hypocrisy. There is the lies that have been told again and again and again. This is on the backdrop of what's been happening in Gaza, the brutal massacring of thousands of people, innocent people in Gaza, a place where 70% of the buildings are either demolished or so badly damaged they're going to have to be demolished. A place where 2 million people have been made refugees in their own country. And the hypocrisy of all this is absolutely rank. I'm talking about hypocrisy. Trump has put himself forward as this guy who, creates peace. He's the peacemaker, isn't he? Is he the peacemaker? Isn't he? Isn't he the one who brings peace and love and he's the anti-war president, isn't he? That's what he said. He was the anti-war president, apparently. The UK is preparing a flight to get British citizens out of Israel right now, and Iranians are quite rightly pissed off with this whole situation. The UN Secretary General has called it a dangerous escalation. Starmer has been urging diplomacy, which is better than saying, hey, come on, can we get involved? Because I don't want to say that. Iran has vowed retaliation. But here's the thing. Trump did not consult Congress before he did this because he knew it wouldn't be approved. None of the Democrats in their parliament would have approved it, right? And the thing is, half of the Republicans wouldn't either. You've got people like, who's that gobshite on the telly? Oh, there's loads of them. You've got Marjorie Taylor Greene. You've got the Nepo, what's his name? That Nepo baby gobshite who went to Russia and was like, oh, everything's great. Used to be on Fox News. Tucker Carlson. The fucker Carlson. He's dead against it. You've got Steve Bannon. Oh, just a disgusting, horrible blob of a man. A foul mountain of mad flesh, a bolting hunch of beastliness. Yeah, they're all saying, oh, you shouldn't be doing this. It's not a war, not a war. Why are we spending American tax dollars on this war? We shouldn't be doing this. No declaration of war, no war powers authorization, and it's unconstitutional, illegal, and it's against international law because Iran was not even in any way posing a threat to America, even if they did have enriched uranium to the point where they could put it on a missile. Those missiles wouldn't get to America. It's just too far away. Like they presented no threat whatsoever to America, even in the worst case scenario. But this is what Netanyahu wants. They've been bombing Iran now for over a week. They've been systematically degrading Iran's missile and air defense system. And Netanyahu has praised the US, saying they've done what no other country could do. And their stated goal is to neutralize Iran's nuclear capability once and for all. But, I mean, why did Iran enrich the uranium to 60%? Well, so they had a card to play. So they could say, well, no, we're going to come to the table, but we'll give up this enriched uranium and we'll send that off to France, and that could be turned into fuel rods and brought back so we can use it in our nuclear power stations. It was it's just part of their sort of mentality, their diplomacy, trying to have a card to play in future negotiations. But that's all been blown out the water now. But this is why now? Well, Netanyahu, he is under domestic pressure over his corruption trials, plural, and the fallout from the Gaza war, which has just been absolutely horrific. You know what the Gaza war reminds me of? It reminds me of, I shouldn't call it a war. It's not really a war, is it? It's a slaughter. The Gaza slaughter, what it reminds me of is the Iliad, going back a bit, first ever sort of book that we know of in the Western canon. And I know Gilgamesh is older, but in the Iliad, they don't really talk up the fall of Troy. Like Troy, the end of Troy, it's just like they leave it in ruins, and they're just like, what was the point of that? What was the fucking point? And they make Homer or whoever wrote it makes this really kind of thing like the whole thing was like, we need to defeat them, we need to crush them into the ground, and then they do, and then they're like, oh, this doesn't make us feel very good. And I think a lot of people in Israel and a lot of people who support Israel around the world are having that same feeling of like, yeah, let's crush them. Oh, you did crush them. Oh, that doesn't make me feel very good. Yeah. British nationals in Israel are being urged to register with a portal to register your presence portal on the Foreign and Commonwealth Office's website. We're going to have to get like all the Brits out as soon as possible because there's going to be retaliation for this. There is going to be retaliation, and Israel can stop all the rockets coming in from Gaza because they're shunky arse rockets. The rockets that are coming in from Iran, they're pretty technologically advanced, you know. And some of them are hitting the targets. And no one in Israel is going to feel safe for a very long time now. I don't think, you know. You go to someone in Israel and they're cowering in a basement with their children, hearing the bombs, the missiles landing up from above, and Do you think that they're sitting there going, oh God, I feel so safe now. I feel so much safer now. We've got rid of the potential of Iran having nuclear weapons. And Israel has nuclear weapons. I can't stress this enough. It's not a signatory to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, and Iran is a signatory to that. So Iran, I know Iran hasn't been completely blameless in all this. It has, fucked around a bit. But when they had the deal with America to go have, nuclear inspectors to go in, it was a good deal. It was working. Iran was coming in from the cold. And it was once Obama wasn't president anymore, Trump came in the first time, and he got rid of this treaty. That's when Iran started acting like a bunch of twats. That's when Iran really started funding the Houthis in Yemen. That all started kicking off. They were funding Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. They were funding Hamas in Gaza. This all started because there was nothing holding them back. There was nothing to say, hey, stop funding those terrorists who are firing rockets at cargo ships going past, going out the Red Sea. You get rid of. You stop doing that. Stop doing that, or we're gonna, bring these sanctions down on you. And because Trump had ripped up the agreement, they had nothing to stick to. So all this escalation is Trump's fault in the first place. The fact that the Hamas had the money to put together an operation as audacious as October the 7th, where they went and murdered hundreds of Israelis and kidnapped hundreds of Israelis. I mean, the fact that they could do that was only because they were being funded by Iran. If Iran was being brought to heel by this treaty that they had signed and said they were sticking to, and they were actually getting something out of it, i.e. they were getting, the sanctions lifted so they could trade with other countries, they could normalize relations with other countries, they went completely the other way. And Trump, this is all Trump's fault. I can't stress that enough. I know Israel is not blameless by any stretch of the imagination, but without Trump getting rid of that deal with Iran, this couldn't have happened. We wouldn't be in this situation right now. It is all his fault. This is a dickhead. This is an absolute fucking moron. This is a really, really stupid person who wants the he wants the Nobel Peace Prize. He wants the Nobel fucking Peace Prize. What a stupid twat. Anyway, he's going around destabilizing the world and then going, I want the Peace Prize for doing this. I'm like, and frustratingly, it did look like Iran was coming back to the table. The 60 days to come up with an agreement had come and gone. It was like day 61 that the Israelis launched an attack on Iran. This wasn't the original deal. This was a new deal under Trump. But they were meeting with Trump's fucking officials on the Sunday. They had a meeting scheduled to talk about this exact thing on the Sunday. And Israel, too many eyes, Iceland, Israel attacked on the Thursday before. They didn't allow that meeting to take place. And because they didn't want the deal to go ahead. Of course, it's not in Israel's interests for Iran to come in from the cold. They don't want that. They want perpetual war. They want Iran to always be the bad guys. Because Iran will be a useful diversion to the crimes that Israel is committing. Israel knows, because I know, so I guess other people know, that it can do whatever the fuck it likes to Gaza without enraging the Saudi Arabians next door. Why can they do that? Well, because there's someone that the Saudis hate more than seeing Gazans killed, massacred. They hate the Iranians. So Israel, like Clint Eastwood in A Fistful of Dollars, is playing one gang against the other gang and coming out, smelling of roses at the end with all the gold. That's the plan, That is the plan here. It's really obvious. So Israel, Netanyahu, obviously hassled Trump in this first term to get rid of this nuclear deal with Iran. Get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it. Every time, get rid of it. I'll pay you some money. I'll put some money in your cryptocurrency account, whatever. He wasn't doing crypto back then, but now he is. I'll give you loads of money. I'll give your kids a yacht. I'll do whatever you need to do, which is always money. If you get rid of this deal, because then Iran will become more unstable and it'll do mad shit. It will start funding Hezbollah, it'll start funding the Houthis, it'll start funding Hamas. All the H's. Anyway, so, and then when it looked like they were getting another deal, what does Israel do? They go and start bombing the shit out of Iran. Do you see the pattern there? Do you see a pattern emerge? Anyone? Madness. Absolute fucking madness. Why we're letting them get away with it. Chris C. Thank you very much. My mum says something to me when I was a young teen, which has stuck with me ever since. At the beginning of every new century, there's always a major conflict. She is spot on. Well, yeah. I mean, we're not really very close to the beginning of the century at this point. But the Nobel Massive See You Next Tuesday prize, just for him, says Sneaky Fish. Yeah, give him a gong. David, why Trump attack Iran if the war is between Israel and Iran? Because Trump does what he's told, David. Trump does what he's told by Benjamin Bibi Netanyahu. Because Trump is a weak leader. He is a weak man. He is controlled by his vices, by his greed, by his megalomania, by his narcissism. He is not controlled by the forces of justice and compassion. And that man does not have a single shred, an iota, a gnat's pube of empathy. He has none. And because of that, he has no decency. None whatsoever. Not a fucking skerrick of decency about that motherfucker. He is the most disgusting, vile, obnoxious blob on this fucking planet. And yet people fucking love him. They love him more than they love their firstborn, which on one level it blows my mind, but on another level, well, what do you expect? What do you expect? Russia, get out of Ukraine. Couldn't agree more. Probably gave Trump something golden, dangled it in front of his stupid orange face. Yeah. That's exactly what they did. I bet they gave him like a religious relic or something and told him it was Jesus's molar tooth or his fucking, a piece of the cross or something, the holy fucking grail. Truly, this is the cup of a carpenter. Good choice. I'm avoiding carburetors while my guts settle, but did cheese and onion stuffed mushrooms for breakfast. Ooh, that sounds good. But not death cap mushrooms, Gallifreyan, man. That's a mad fucking murder case, isn't it? In Australia right now, with the lady who invited her in-laws round for some beef Wellington laced with death cap mushrooms, and she's like, "No, I didn't do it." Like, how could you not have done it? It was an accident. I just collect wild mushrooms. Well, why were you looking up on the internet what mushrooms are deadly? Oh well, and why did you wipe the fact you were doing that? Oh, I panicked. Like, mind blown. So yeah, Iran's response to all this, they've done missile strikes already this morning against northern and central Israel, including Haifa and Tel Aviv. 10 civilians have been injured. Iran, their first minister, has called it an outrageous attack with everlasting consequences. And the president has said Iran will not abandon its nuclear program. And the proxy threats, the Houthis say that retaliation is imminent. So what the Houthis will probably do, what I would do if I was a Houthi, which I'm not, but if I was a terrorist and a Shia minority in a country that had problems with the Shia that for centuries, and I would attack the shipping going through the Red Sea. What are you going to do? You're going to go all the way around Africa? Puts a few miles on the clock, doesn't it? Is Iran could also activate Hezbollah and other regional militias, but I don't know. I think that like this whole setup 3 years ago would not have happened because Iran was too powerful with its proxies. I think its proxies have faced a lot of Iran, Israel has forced a lot of Iran's proxies underground, taking out the command structure of many of them. Hamas is a shell of its former self, so is Hezbollah after that audacious pager attack a couple of years ago. I think that there will be some issues with that, but what I think might be a bigger issue if it does happen is the Strait of Hormuz could be closed. So the Strait of Hormuz, just to explain, is the bit of it's like the tip of Oman, and it sticks up just by United Arab Emirates, and there's a little tiny gap between them and Iran. In fact, what I'll do is if I just very cleverly. Oh, Ivan, thank you very much for the £20 super chat. People like me are an afterthought yet again. Nobody cares. The world's mental health is beyond breaking point because of world events. Israel, Iran, Israel, Gaza, Ukraine, COVID. We are sick to death of it. I'm really sorry, Ivan. And like, I always say this, mate, but like, if this is a lot, please don't watch these shows. And I'm really grateful for your contribution, and I really love the fact that you watch this stuff. But we have the rabbit hole with me and Rach, and we do that each week where we just don't talk about politics, so you can enjoy hanging out with us, but we're not actually getting into the nitty gritty of this horrific shit that's going on around the world. I will also say that I'm not Chicken Little. I don't think the world's gonna collapse. I think we're gonna muddle along best we can, and I think that it's good in a way that we have had our eyes opened more than we ever had in the past to what's going on in the world in real time, and we can react to it. But then the bad side of that is exactly as you've said, the impact on people's mental health, where every day just seems like, oh my God, what now? What now? Oh, fucking hell. And terrible things happening in the world, and us not being able to do anything about it. But having said that, there is more we can do about it now than ever before because we're more interconnected than ever before. We can actually talk to people that we know in Iran. If we've got friends in Iran, we can go on Twitter or whatever the fuck it's called these days and see people's responses in real time. And that allows us to empathize better with people in these circumstances better than ever before. But yeah, so although we are, not as powerful as a voice as we should be as the people, as the demo of the democracy, I still feel like having that awareness is really important. And yeah, shit things happen, but beautiful things happen as well. People do lovely things for each other. People reach out. Have a look at, I look at America and go, fucking hell. I do that quite a lot. But like the health system over there is horrific. But time and time again, you see people's generosity when people set up a GoFundMe and explain, what's happened and the fact they've got this medical debt because of this, that, and the other. And people will give money because people feel like, oh my God, I want to try and help, and they can help directly doing it that way. I think it's a shit fucking process. Clearly, I mean, their health system in America is fucked, beyond fucked, and it's what Farage wants for this country. He said so on many occasions. He didn't stutter. He wants a privatized insurance-based healthcare system so that rich people like him can stop that. Can get so rich people like him can get the care that they want, and the rest of us can just fucking suffer in our jogs. But just to bring it back to our country, we can put pressure on our MPs. We can write to them, and it does make a difference. I've, talking to my MP about PIP, I honestly don't think that this bill's going to go through here, the disability bill that Labour are touting. They're going to take £5 billion from disabled people. I can't see it going through. My MP is just like, no way, just not happening. Just not happening. And if she's joined by 99 others, it won't even go to Parliament. Like they're not going to put it through because they're not going to put through something that they know they're going to lose on the second reading on the vote. Because so many Labour backbenchers are just going to say, fuck this, we cannot in good conscience support this. And so I do believe that whatever comes will be watered down. I don't think it'll take so much money away from people who are currently getting PIP. I'm hoping that it won't take any money at all, or any of the facilities that are afforded by this money away from people who are getting PIP. I just can't see it. I might be wrong, but I didn't think that that Labour were going to continue on with the winter fuel allowance with so many Labour MPs complaining about it and the pressure. And they buckled in the end because even backbench MPs, they need their votes. And even when they've got a huge majority, they still need the votes of those MPs. Not every single one of them, but if 100 of them all get together and say, we are not voting for this, it ain't going to go ahead for Labour. They can't risk it. Paula Thomas, thank you so much for the £20 super chat. That is incredibly generous. And it turns out that you're number one. You are my number one, Paula. Thank you. US involvement in this anti-Iran nuclear industry goes to take a look at the history of the Stuxnet virus, aimed at the Step 7 programmable logic controllers using centrifuge via Windows computers discovered in 2010. Oh, wow. That is kind of crazy. Anne says, ooh, that reminds me, haven't written to my MP yet, must do that. I believe she's a good, caring soul, given her pre-MP record in the council. Can I give everyone a bit of advice, right? Letter writing's hard, right? If you need to, there's no shame in getting AI to help out. What you want to do is say, I am writing a letter to my MP. This is all the stuff I want to say. And you can say it however you want. You can spell things wrong. You don't need to use capitals. It'll sort it all out for you. And press enter, and it'll present you with a few paragraphs that are really well written and really persuasive, based on what you've told it. Based on what you've said. Put in all the copper plate stuff, and you tell it to use emotive language. And obviously rewrite it to your liking, because there's a little bit of, when I read back stuff that ChatGPT writes, it feels like it's not my voice. I wouldn't say it like that. So just, make a few changes, but God, it speeds up the process. It massively speeds up the process. I wrote to 2 MPs on Friday to ask them to vote for the change in the law when it comes to assisted dying. Unfortunately, neither of them voted for it, but at least they read my message. They read my texts to say, please vote for this. But that was, it was just a couple of paragraphs, but I was prepping for my show on Friday, and obviously do a lot of shows on Friday, and I just did not have time to sit there and write a well thought out thing. And I knew that the vote was going to be that day, so I needed to get the message out to them before I did my show. So it's it's a lot. It's a lot. Ivan, thanks very much for the £10. That's really kind of you, Ivan. Thank you so much, mate. I really appreciate it. Ivan's so kind. I didn't mean on here, Graham. I meant politicians and the media never talk about and address the mental health consequences of these horrendous world events. No, they don't. They don't. And they should. They should. Because we are in a mental health crisis right now. And one of the reasons is, I feel like we're not talking about this stuff in a way that helps people. That in a way that, in a way that makes people look at a situation that's happening in the world and then go, okay, well, it looks really bad. But what the media do, and they always do this, is they make it look worse than it actually is. Always. It's like I often talk about travel and the fact that if the only thing you know about Sierra Leone is there was a conflict there and something to do with child soldiers and diamonds and lots of people died. If that's all you know about Sierra Leone, you're not going to know about the fantastic beaches and the beautiful people and the incredible food and the rich, vibrant life of Sierra Leone. You might not think that the capital's got some really lovely buildings in it and all this kind of stuff. You might not consider that because that's not in the news. That's not in the news. The only thing in the news is the bad stuff. And obviously, clickbait, they ramp it up. They're like, oh my God, it's going to be the world. It's the end of the world. Ah. And some, I don't know if I'm completely innocent in this because sometimes I put on like quite obnoxious thumbnails on purpose, but I'm always trying to have a dig at authority. I'm always trying to punch up with my thumbnails and the way that I present these shows. I'm trying to anyway. I'm not trying to fool you. I'm not trying to bring you in and give you either, make you panic or give you false hope. That's the one thing that I really object to on the Midas Touch and David Pakman and some of the other, influencers who are a lot more successful than me. So clearly it works. But I think that they go hard on the copium. Like Trump falls, he stumbles going up some stairs. He stumbles a little bit. And they're like, they do a whole 10-minute video on like, oh my God, he's dying. This is it. This is the end of Trump. And I'm watching it going, I think he just stumbled up the way up the stairs. I've done that. So here we have. Sorry, I wanted to take you over. If this will let me to the papers. There we go. And then if I do that, there we go. Map. So just to explain, see this bit here. This is the Strait of Hormuz. Here you go. And you can see that this is all up here, and Bandar Abbas is there. I'm sorry that the text is so small. Let's make the text a bit bigger. There's Bandar Abbas. That's in the south of Iran. Sorry, Jesus. And then you can see here, it's a bit weird, right? So, see this border here, right? This is the border between, this is Oman. This is Oman. This is the UAE. So there's Dubai. There's Sharjah. There's Abu Dhabi. There's Al Ain. So the United Arab Emirates is made up of 7 emirates. And Oman might have been one of the emirates, but then it ended up not being one of the emirates. So there's Oman there, okay? There's Salalah there. Spent a couple of weeks in Salalah trying to get a ship down to the bloody Seychelles down here. And the Somali pirates who live here wouldn't let me. But yeah, that's another story. But yeah, there's Oman there, just so you get the geography of this. And then you've got this little tiny pinch point here that all these cargo ships and all of these oil tankers and gas tankers have to go through. If they're coming from Qatar, we get a shitload of our liquid natural gas. We get it from Qatar. I think it's like 30% or something of our mix. It's like a lot. There's also stuff coming from Bahrain and also from Kuwait. And also Saudi Arabia have the option. They can ship stuff out of Jeddah over here. Oh, sorry, I need to move it over. So there you go. I met a guy from Jeddah who wanted to change the etonym. Is it an etonym? Demonym for Jeddah to Jedi. So people from Jeddah were officially called Jedis, which I thought was pretty cool. Anyway, so here's Iran. Iran is freaking huge. It is a population of 90 million people. It stretches all the way up to Turkey, Azerbaijan up here, Turkmenistan up here, Afghanistan. And yeah, it's got this little bit between the UAE and this little exclave here, exclave of Oman. So this bit here, this peninsula is actually Oman. It's not the UAE. Although it might look otherwise, it's not part of the UAE. So that's where we are. And also, let's not forget that all these rockets and missiles that are being fired over from Israel to Iran are going over Iraq and going over Jordan. So people in Jordan are having to hide in bunkers because they're getting hit. They're getting hit as well, which isn't great. That's not great. Not all boomers, though. I don't know why I said that. That wasn't supposed to come up. Let's get rid of that. So just to give you some idea of what they can do. So if they stop that strait from being opened, it really knackers things for the likes of Qatar and Bahrain and Kuwait getting stuff out. Because don't forget, you can get so much more stuff on a ship than you can over land. So there is no train that you can get from Qatar over to Jeddah. Even if there was, you'd have to pay tax to move the stuff through someone else's country, which is why landlocked countries all around the world, traditionally, historically, have always been poorer, unless they've got very good neighbors or they live on a navigable river like the Danube. But if they don't, then you're fucked, because you are completely at the mercy of your neighbors. No country in the world would elect to be landlocked. The two poorest countries in Latin America are Paraguay and Bolivia, two countries that are both landlocked. In fact, Bolivia lost its access to the sea in a war against Peru many moons ago. And since then, it's never really been able to develop to the point where it needed to. Because it's not just that you've got to pay another country to get your stuff in and out. If you have a port, a big major shipping port, you can fit 20,000 boxes, 20,000 TEUs, okay, on one ship, right? That is just insane. Sorry, I've just had a message to take my ID, so I need to get my passport and put it in my pocket. So I've got to do something in a bit that requires ID. Just got to remind them on my phone. The other thing is, 20,000 trucks or a train with 20,000 containers on the train would stretch from Liverpool to Leeds. That's how many 20,000 of these bastards are. And you can fit them on one ship. So you're trying to get this stuff overland. It is nigh on impossible to do it at the volume you can do if you are taking it over the sea. Also, if you're taking combustible material, or oil, or especially LNG, liquid natural gas, like that stuff is explosive, like crazy explosive, and you don't want to be taking this overland. You really don't. If you can avoid it, you want to be taking it over the sea. So if Iran put in a blockade there in the Strait of Hormuz, this could be absolutely catastrophic for trade for the neighboring countries, but also in the world. And I'm sure they have the ability to do that. It would spark an energy crisis, like another one. It's almost as though we should be energy independent, almost. There's a divide in Congress in America at the moment. The Republicans largely supporting Trump. Democrats are furious about the lack of consultation. I'm sure they're going to write a very strongly worded letter about it. And the enforcement of the War Powers Act, which hasn't been brought in here. He's just gone and done it. This is a bit like Ronald Reagan's invasion of Grenada all over again. He just went and did it. Didn't ask anyone. Just went and did it. Trump's motives on this is to move to appear strong on foreign policy. It distracts from internal chaos with his immigration raids, his mass protests that are going on against him, his political trials and tribulations. And also, there's reaction to this, obviously, in the US. It's still nighttime over there, but I'm sure there's going to be quite big protests today off the back of this. And there's been calls for restraint, but I think the damage is already done. I don't know if they're going to do any more now. I think they just went in, bombed these facilities, and then got out. But the thing is, the Iran might retaliate now against US troops or bases, and that would suck America into a regional war, because they would have to retaliate, wouldn't they? I assume. They've got bases. The US have got bases in Iraq. They've got bases in Syria. They've got bases in the Gulf. Cyber attacks are likely. Possibility of dragging NATO into this conflict, which I really don't want to see. Trump's been degrading NATO for so long. Also, the bombing didn't remove all of the nuclear material. Iran may rebuild and accelerate their program like crazy, because there is now the potential for Iran to genuinely pursue a bomb now, because they're like, oh, fuck you all. You're going to do this to us. And then it leaves a bit of a strategic vacuum with no end game. Diplomacy is dead in the water. If you think that the Iranians are going to rise up and topple their leaders, I just don't see it happening. They could take out the Ayatollah Khomeini, but there'll be another one. There'll be another one to take his place. I guarantee it. I mean, he's an old man. They must have someone waiting in the wings to take over and be just as ridiculous. And the war could spill over into Syria, into Iraq, into Yemen, into Lebanon. We don't know. you're destabilizing an already quite, unstable region of the world. And I'm kind of sick and tired of the whole world's shit revolving around this particular area, which is just full of the egos and knobheads and loads of money and more oil than you can shake a stick at. And they just keep fighting and dragging everyone else into their own little ethno-religious bloody conflicts. It drives me up the fucking wall. And Netanyahu and Trump is there's a dangerous partnership. And Netanyahu avoids accountability at home. Trump gets to show that, he's a strong president who can actually make a decision. But at what cost? Hundreds could die, thousands could die, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. Nuclear proliferation could accelerate and lead to more global instability as the price of oil fucking goes through the roof, as the price of fuel spikes like crazy. And where does this end? Will Iran retaliate? Will Trump strike further? Will Congress rein him in? No. Spoilers. And the historical parallels here with Iraq in 2003 cannot be ignored. Faulty intelligence, the want for regime change, which didn't work. We ended up with an endless war. And again, there's no coalition, there's no planning, there's no exit strategy, there's nothing to be done on day one after they win. No one's worked it out, just like they never worked it out in Afghanistan. They never worked it out in Iraq. They never worked it out in Korea. They never worked it out in Vietnam. Do you see a pattern here? Do you see a pattern? And the war this didn't need to happen. Diplomacy was working. It was blown up by Benjamin Netanyahu, empowered by Trump. And the people who suffer most will not be Netanyahu. They will not be Trump. They'll be ordinary citizens in Tehran, in Haifa, in Tel Aviv, in Mashhad, and everywhere else caught in the bloody blast radius of this fucking nonsense. So yeah, it is just a mad time to be alive. It really is. We've for whatever reason, we've chosen a ridiculous path to go down and cheered on by the fucking morons. You just know, don't you? Like, people go, oh, what? People say they won't go out with me because I'm a Tory. People won't go out with me because people won't go out with me because I support Trump, because I told her I was MAGA and then she just left the table and walked out and said, oh, I don't want anything to do with you. Yeah? Do you know why? Because if you voted for this shit, it shows that you don't give a fuck about anyone or anything but yourself and your own stupid ego, and you put your own stupidity above the needs of your own nation, above the needs of the world, of humanity. You put your own stupidity as like on a pedestal and go, look how stupid I am. Look how easily manipulated I am. People used to be embarrassed. People used to be embarrassed about how stupid they were. And they could do something about it. They could become more intelligent. They could learn. They could actually read a fucking book. But now, no. Pete Hegseth, he doesn't need a book. Only the Bible. Don't believe what you read in books apart from the Bible. The one with the talking snake and the woman made from the rib of another man, and the bloke who was told to murder his own son, and then God came down and went, only joking. That one, yeah, that's the one with truth in. Jesus, wow. Ivan says, I'm determined to get what I've raised this morning will be taken seriously by politicians and the media one way or another. Yeah, Ivan, I hope you're successful, and I hope that you get support that you need on this. There are charities out there. There are groups and organisations that are trying to get mental health put onto the agenda of the government, and I'm sure there are many MPs, especially in Labour, who sympathise with the plight of people who are going, oh my God, my mental health is really suffering because of all the shit that is going on. Grim Fang said, I'm going to need something a little harder than water. I could really do with some water. I don't know if you can tell by my voice. I've run out of coffee. I drank all my coffee. I usually have a water with me as well, but I forgot to bring it, and I can't go and get it because it means leaving you all on your own for a few minutes while I go and get it. So I'm going to just go over to the papers very quickly. US bombers in striking distance of Iran. Well, that's a bit old, isn't it? Dewar turns up the heat at Wembley. We've got the Sunday Telegraph here. Hidden Paradise, the perfect Amalfi dupe. What? Cummings, how to fix our broken board. Fuck off, Cummings. No one cares what you've got to say about anything. There's a There's a picture there that will probably be in the Viz next month in the, what can I say, the UTA corner. If you know, you know. That's Emma Raducanu. She's watching her US doubles partner play in the semi-final. So not the fact that someone's playing tennis, but someone's watching tennis. I wonder why they put a picture of this, pretty young lady on the front cover of the Telegraph. What was she doing? She was watching the tennis. Okay, put that on the front cover. RAF base targeted an Iranian spy plot. British man accused of espionage in Cyprus as Trump dispatches B-2 bombers. This is as Azerbaijani heritage Iranian who's been accused of this. It's funny that's coming out now, isn't it? Good timing, isn't it? We need to think that Iran's out to get us. NHS sending patients abroad for treatment. Farage on course to be Prime Minister after next election, if you say so. I really hope not. Let's make sure that doesn't happen, people. And Johnny Depp, I was a crash test dummy for Me Too. Fuck you, Johnny Depp, gobshite. And then At Home with Bruce Springsteen. There's a picture of the man there from the family. He's in the family and he's got puppies. So there you go, an exclusive. He has some dogs. Man has dogs. Streeting, NHS has no cash for assisted dying. MP's got decision wrong. Health Secretary says, fuck off, Wes. British spy for Iran held at base. China mega embassy approved. And 20 soldiers talk to police over killing of Agnes. This is about 20 British soldiers have given their accounts the night that Angus Y. Giroux was allegedly killed by one of their fellow servicemen in Kenya. Closing in, Khomeini once governed the country, now he commands a bunker. More than 20 Iranian commanders killed. Trump sends B-2 bombers to Guam. Guam? What are they doing in Guam? That's miles away. That's the other side of the fucking planet. His geography's not great. As Prince celebrates birthday, my pal Wills brings hope to planet. There's a picture of someone from the family, because there has to be every day. Britain's rudest celebrities. Oh, there you go. They're rude. Will Naga jump ship amid BBC breakfast bullying row? She might well do that. Tories, I like Naga. She interviewed me when I was on BBC News a long time ago, being interviewed. And Red Rainer's workers' bill is wrecking ball for the UK economy. There you go. We got 50 million asylum hotels. Farce. The Home Office has failed to collect more than 50 million owed by firms making massive profits from housing over 32,000 asylum seekers. Doesn't surprise me. Hats off to the Sports of King. So apparently there's a thing about the Royal Ascot. This has been going on for a week now. A week. How long does this Royal Ascot go on for? Like, seriously. Like, all week there's been pictures of the royals on the front cover of the newspapers. They had 3 days in a row of the same picture of Princess Kate wearing a hat at the jaunty angle last week. Absolutely bonkers. And Danny Dyer saw an alien. Okay, cool. Thanks, Danny. Woo! Raducanu, that's a fine old English name. Seems we have no problem with people of other origins as long as they win medals or have a large amount of money. Or they're easy on the eye. So you get lots of people who are a bit racist, and they're like, I don't like the people from other countries being here. And you're like, well, what about Luther? What about Luther? Do you like Luther? Oh yeah, I like Luther. He's all right. He's all right. Idris Elba. He's all right. I like him. The thing I'm having to contend with at the moment is my pit review. I have chronic severe mental illness, exacerbated autism, and excessive physical mobility problems. Ivan, I hope you're getting the support that you need, mate. And I know you've got people who are helping you at the moment, and I'm hoping that they understand how much all this is affecting you and are helping you with that. And like I say, it's a lot. It's a lot. It is a lot. I'm being told to get some water by Sam Russo. Yes, I should go and get some bloody water, shouldn't I? Anyway, I'm going to go. I'm going to go get some water and get on with the day. Got lots of things to do today. I didn't have the kids last week for Father's Day, so we're going to have Stepfather's Day today. We're going to go out and have something nice to eat, and then I'm going to the video arcade. That's what I'm going. I'm going to the arcade. I don't care. I'm going to the arcade. Stepfather's Day. So that's what I'm doing. I'm getting treated. But in order to do that, I've got to leave the house. So off I go. I'll be back Might do a show tonight. I'm not promising anything. It just depends how the day goes. I've still got loads of other work to do, getting prepped for Glastonbury. Yeah, I'll if I do a show, I'll let you know well in advance. I'll put the thumbnail up, right? So you know, like 2 hours in advance. If you subscribe to the channel, please subscribe. And then you hit the bell notification icon. And when I put up a video to say I'm going to be going live at 6 or 7 or 8, whatever, it should give you a ping in your pocket. I hope. That's the plan. All right, that's it for today. I'm going to give a like on the way out. I hope we covered everything. God knows what happens next. What a time to be alive, my friends. What a time to be alive. But at least we've got a good gang of people here watching the show, joining in, chatting away. So thank you for taking your time out on Sunday morning to join us here on Morning Brew. And if I don't do a show this evening, I will do a show tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Morning Brew. Be there or be square. Until then, thanks for watching. Thanks for the super chats. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.